Alright, so the end of day 4. Didn't really bother them at camp too much today. Matt got his primitive bow drill fire, meaning he used all materials that he found out in nature to make a bow drill fire. So didn't use paracord or rope for his bow string. Used a rock for the bearing block, and then, you know, all natural materials for everything else. So that's a pretty tough feat in itself, but he got it done. Finished his 10 feet of cordage, and then David made some tools, made some water containers, and improved upon his shelter quite a bit, so he'd be more comfortable. But they both struggled today with food, acquiring meat, crawdads, or fish. So they quiet. So they ate a lot of wild edibles, which is pretty tough. You know, just surviving on wild edibles, you don't get the proteins you need, the complete proteins. So, you really do need meat out here. Eating wild plants is typically just not enough to sustain yourself in the wild. But they did all right. We'll check in on them in the morning and see how they did last night, and I'll show you some of the tools that they made yesterday. Signing out for the night. I'll talk to you guys in the morning on day 5. Good morning. It is day 5 of the survival challenge. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to head up and check up on the guys, see if they did anything last night, how well their night went. I know they by about 7 o'clock at night, neither of them had acquired any food, any substantial food for day 4, and they've been eating wild edibles and some berries from out here. So I'm going to go check in on them this morning. We're going to get up early and try their hand at fishing at first light. So hopefully they got something, and hopefully they had a good night. Let's go find out. Morning. Thought you weren't wearing any pants for a second. What you doing?
I'm gonna make a smoker rack.
Sweet.
Because I caught a hog this morning.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Show me.
Down the
Yeah. Did you catch anything last night?
No. Well, yeah, no, I did. I caught a small guy.
Little fish?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you just swallow it whole?
A crawdad, almost.
Yeah.
Well, so when I caught a crawdad down there, and I split with David. So I gave him 2 crawdads. I kept the one, and then I caught a little one for bait, and then I caught a little minnow about that big. So I boiled the big crawdad and the minnow up, and I just ate the whole minnow.
Yeah.
So hi.
It was nice after not having food for the whole day, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I had berries and stuff.
Where'd you catch that big fish?
Up at the dam.
Right on. Oh, look at those.
Hey, ow, ow, ow.
He's got some gooseberries or currants, whatever you want to call them.
That's like maybe a quarter of what I picked yesterday.
Yeah, they're all over the place right now up here. And then there's some of that. I might have to steal some of that later, but show me your fish.
Yeah, you want to go down there?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Mint tea.
Ooh, fancy.
Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, something came in last night and did some damage to the carcasses, the crawdad carcasses down there.
Oh yeah, like some water monster?
I don't know.
Well, if it were David, it would have been a sea creature.
Right?
Like, sort of like the Loch Ness Monster. The Creek Ness Monster?
I told him this is my breakfish.
You're hey, not gonna. It's you. Never mind.
Vicious dog.
Thought it was Knucklehead 1 or Knucklehead 2 for a minute. You can growl all you want. Breakfish, huh?
Yep. I figured figured I'll eat half right now and I'll try to smoke the other half.
Yeah, have some breakfast in bed.
Yep. Oh, and I forgot too, for dinner as well, I also did a bunch of the goose foot with the roe. I boiled that.
The roe?
Yeah, fish roe.
Oh, nice. I go this way.
Yeah, something definitely came in and disturbed most of the carcasses and pushed them down. But
Yeah, you're just trying to see if you can. Don't die. Rule number 1 of survival.
I'm trying. I'm not doing a very good job.
Look at that bad boy. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Big
That's
as a face.
That'll be
So
some good eating. Huh? You showed David that yet?
I didn't want to rub it in. He's a little frustrated. He's working on traps right now.
Oh, is he?
Because I heard yelling and stuff. I was like, I'm going to go check and make sure he's okay. He's frustrated.
Is he?
Yeah, real frustrated.
Because he hadn't eaten yet.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, he didn't want to go fishing because he's been working on traps for like 2 hours and he can't get the set.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah,
he's
that's what
smelling.
happens when you don't eat. You start getting grumpy, some people, and
Absolutely, I get it.
make
100%.
bad decisions. You should give him that head and tell him to make some fish head stew.
I need bait.
No, that's true. Well, that's what the guts are for. There's his carcasses of crawdads. You boiled up. You boiled those up last night, or just over the
No, that
last
was,
few days?
Yesterday.
Cool.
Yesterday morning, but that's like not even half of what I had.
And this is our trail mix marker.
Yep.
Apparently. So you got it up at the big pond above us. Nice.
Yep. I had 1 or 2 little nibbles, but nothing too crazy. Caught it by around 7, I think.
Nice. This guy?
Yep.
All right, Matt, we're on day 5. What'd you knock out day 4?
Day 4, I finished up my yucca cordage. I did 10 foot that could hold up my backpack, and then I doubled it up and twisted it together to make a thicker cordage for doing a primitive bow drill.
How'd that make you feel?
I'm glad the cordage is over because I went with yucca. Yucca is not easy to find out here, and the leaves are a bit shorter, so but,
Yeah.
it's strong. So I didn't know what else I could use. So, and of course, halfway through the 10 foot of cordage, I was like, "There's cattails up there. I could have used cattails to make cordage."
Yeah, but you think cattails would have held up to a primitive bow drill?
Probably not primitive bow drill, but it would have been a hell of a lot easier to get my 10 foot. So,
Wild dingoes. So it feel pretty good to get that bow drill fire?
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just, I knew it was going to suck because I've done it before, but I'm glad it didn't break. I'm glad I got it, so, for sure.
What'd you get for food last night?
What I ate for dinner, I picked quite a bit of the goose foot, and I also caught a small brown trout, so I gutted him out, her actually, because it had roe, so I put the roe in with the edibles, the leaves, and boiled those up, and then I also caught a crawdad and a small minnow, and I put those on top of my little thing, and I actually steamed those on top of the vegetables. I ate the minnow whole, so it was actually not bad. And
Yeah,
then
so
had that
poop
fish.
and all?
Yeah, whatever it had inside of it is inside of me, so.
But you got that huge fish this morning that make you happy, huh?
Oh, hell yeah.
So he's going to work on building a smoke rack using that willow today, smoke it over his fire, eat some of it for breakfast.
Yep, my breakfast.
Breakfast, and then smoke the rest for dinner later. But yeah, good job. What's your plans for the day after this?
Yeah, just kind of. Oh, and I'm also gonna eat some plantain seeds and stuff.
Yeah, I can try that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna roast these guys up and have that with, so some plant protein as well. So I got a bunch of those, but yeah, I don't know. Probably gonna try to go down. I had thought about trying to go up High Creek, but I don't know how far it is to quote unquote good fishing. So I don't know if I want to risk that.
Yeah.
So I may try to just maybe make some kind of like fish trap or crawdad weir or whatever down at the beaver dam, and use the guts from this one for bait. See if I can catch anything that way.
So have you had any food other than what you've carried or caught out here?
Negative, other than breakfast on starting day, which we all had. That's it. I've been completely subsisting off everything I've been able to catch and harvest myself.
Are you feeling all right?
I'm actually feeling pretty good, surprisingly. I thought I'd be dragging ass by this point, but it is tempting having the food options in my gear. But luckily I'm staying strong. So today and tomorrow, and I'm good to go.
Yeah. So with the primitive bow drill, if you get that knocked out, you get a jar of peanut butter. So he's got a jar of peanut butter. in his pack that he's allowed to eat, but he's
It is tempting. I'm probably
testing
gonna eat half of it
himself.
before we hike out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we
Well,
got
not tomorrow. Sorry, day after tomorrow.
like
The days are running together. So
right.
soon.
So he can eat that if he wants, but he's chosen not to.
gonna
Also, since trapping, we're not allowed to trap here in Colorado.
Should be here some- no, there it is.
If he makes 5 traps and shows me that they work, then he can get a small portion of beef jerky, which we made last week before coming out here. So, but he's not turned any of that in either. So, going through the real test, I guess you
Yep.
call it.
I might do the traps just for fun, but yeah, I won't take the. I don't want to take the meat option.
Yep. So yeah, but I'm gonna go now down to check in on David. He's struggling a little bit. He didn't have too much for dinner last night. A couple crawdads, and so I think he's a little down on himself. But we'll go down there and give him a little kick at the pants, and see if we can't motivate him. But all right, thanks, Matt.
Catch you later.
Have fun.
Oh yeah.
There he is. This is when it starts getting hard, buddy. Day 5. What'd you have for dinner last night?
Nothing.
Nothing. You didn't eat any crawdads?
4 crickets, 2 crawdads.
So you had a little bit, huh? It's not a lot of food, is it? It's a struggle. Did you get to go fishing this morning?
No.
No. What are you working on?
Pipe.
So if he makes 5 Paiutes, he can turn it in for a portion of beef jerky. We can't trap here in Colorado against gaming laws, so I give them the option if they make 5 working traps, they can turn it in for a portion of meat. So it's kind of an out, but you know, normally you'd be able to trap and you might catch something and you'd be able to eat it. But you got one made? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's got one here. It looks like he's got to put some cordage on it, but he's got them whittled out.
There's cordage on it.
Is there? Oh yeah, there is. So he's got the guts and the toggle on there. So you make a Paiute for that. Pretty good trap. Works pretty well when you're able to set him up. Hopefully he'll get a little meat in him, a little protein, some fat from that jerky, and he'll get feeling better. And then catch some fish, right?
Maybe.
So tell me a story. How are you feeling?
I feel alright.
Yeah? Are you sure?
No.
No. So, get back. So what do you think's getting to you the most?
Food.
Yeah? It's tough. What have you been eating? Did you eat any wild edibles yesterday?
Yesterday I had a bunch of gooseberries.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You should try some of those plantain stalks. They got a bit of protein in them. They're not complete proteins, but they'll help. And I know it doesn't all taste great, but it's sustenance, at least to carry you through. It's tough when you don't eat. You start making poor decisions. You will hit your second wind. You know, when I did this, about my 4th day, I felt probably pretty much the same way as you did. And then I found, basically the next day, I found my second wind. My body adapted, adjusted, and then I was able to go out and do more. And I ended up catching some fish and a couple fish, and as soon as I ate those, I could feel the energy. So all you gotta do is maybe take rest and get back out there and keep going. Can't give up. Alrighty, so Matt's doing well. He's got everything done on the challenge. He's building a smoke rack. He's eating pretty well. He's got a fair amount of training. He's done this before, so he's comfortable out here. He went yesterday most of the day without having food, but he still adapted and did well. David is struggling a little bit, but he's brand new to all this. Just been out here for the past 44 days now, or something like that. I don't know, 47 days, 48 days, lost track. But anyways, he's never done anything like this before, so this is a whole new experience. And I get it. I went through this myself. When you don't have food, you're in an uncomfortable environment. You're sleeping in a primitive shelter. You're not getting 8 hours of sleep. It's difficult. And anybody that tells you otherwise, anybody that acts tough and says, "Oh, I could do that, that's easy, it's just 7 days out in the woods," they're full of crap. Or they've had a huge amount of experience doing it. If you've never done this before, I don't care who you are, how tough you think you are, you're gonna have a breakdown. And if you don't have that food, your mind screws with you. And he's just down, And I did the same thing when I did my challenge after not eating for 3 days. I struggled. I won't lie. I'm not too proud to admit it. So he's going through that phase right now. His body will adapt and overcome, or he'll motivate himself and get some food. And you have to find your reason. What is your reason? I've said that before. What is your reason to challenge yourself? And so I had a little pep talk with him, and I walked away and he was smiling. So you have to, if you're out here alone, you're not going to have somebody to give you that pep talk, to give you that encouragement. So you have to be able to encourage yourself. Find your reason. So he'll figure it out. He'll get it done. We only have 2 more days. Well, really, today, it's probably about 10:30. So we got all day today, all day tomorrow. And if they complete their tasks by day 7, we're gonna hike out. And we're gonna get back to primary camp. So he's just got to get 2 more days. I mean, he's not going to die in 2 days. It's just possibly going to suck if he doesn't get food. But there's lots of wild edibles out here that can, push you through for a couple days. If you know your plants, I've gone over a huge amount of plants with both Matt and David. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop talking for now. You probably tired of looking at my stupid face. But anyways, find your reason. If you're out here and you're struggling, what is your reason to get back home? All right, well, signing out for now. Till I find something more interesting to talk about. I'll see you later.